Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well, and welcome if you are new. Welcome, welcome. Well, the Tates were arrested on Saturday, July 18th, in Miami, Florida, and are being held for extradition to the UK. Let's take a look at that really quick.
Breaking news to get to, though, as this is coming into our newsroom just in the last couple of moments. This post coming from TMZ saying breaking: Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested in Miami. We also have this post coming from the New York Post. Manosphere influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate arrested by U.S. Marshals in Florida. The Associated Press is reporting influencer brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate were arrested by federal authorities on Saturday in Miami. That's according to the U.S. Marshals Service. The charges against the pair were not immediately announced, but a spokesperson for the Marshals Service is telling the Associated Press that the warrant was sealed. I want to put up some video on your screen right now of the Tate brothers. They were arrested on extradition request from the UK. That's according to a person who is familiar with the matter, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss this case. The brothers, proponents of hypermasculinity, who have millions of followers on social media, have been wanted in the United Kingdom, where they face rape and human trafficking charges. The brothers are dual U.S. and British citizens who moved to Romania in 2016. They were arrested there in 2022, accused of participating in schemes to lure women for sexual exploitation. They denied those allegations, and the case did not go forward because legal and procedural irregularities. The former professional kickboxers have amassed a following of fans, particularly young men and boys, by professing a lifestyle of luxury and unapologetic misogyny. The pending charges in the UK accuse the brothers of abusing women between 2012 and 2015 in an area north of London where they grew up. Their lawyers have said that they denied the allegations. We also have this coming in from the Crown Prosecution Service, who has decided to bring additional charges against the brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate. Following their arrest, prosecutors will seek extradition in relation to the original charges and the further charges they have authorized. So just reading from their website, once again, they're deciding to bring those further charges against the brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate, in relation to 4 further victims. The CPS deciding to prosecute Andrew Tate, who is 39, with 7 further counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault, and bodily harm, and 19 additional charges for offenses relating to indecent images of children and extreme pornography. The CPS deciding to prosecute Tristan Tate, who is 38 years old, with 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. The offending is alleged to have taken place between July of 2010 and August of 2017. So we wanted to be sure to bring you that breaking news, as Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested by the U.S. Marshal Service in Miami. That breaking news just coming in moments ago. We are going to slide away right now for...
Okay, so here is footage of them actually being arrested.
Back up. Back up. Guys, back up.
So here you see him try to pass his phone to this guy here that's not paying attention, and the phone drops. And this other guy that's with him picks it up. And yes, everyone is making fun of this ridiculous outfit, the shoes, the pants, the shirt. And I guess they're letting this guy take his necklace. I mean, they should have secured that phone. I don't feel like that was a very good job there. I don't know why. They're just like, "Oh, yeah, do whatever you want while we're arresting you." Okay, so the UK is seeking extradition over new allegations that include 7 additional counts of sexual exploitation, bodily assault, and 19 charges related to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. So these are the new charges for Tate, 7 counts Andrew Tate, 3 counts of facilitating trafficking, 4 sexual exploitation, 3 accounts assault occasioning actual bodily harm, 19 additional charges for offenses related to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. Tristan has 2 counts of and 1 count of sexual assault. Those are new charges. We'll go over the total charges as we move on here. So here's what was released from the UK. Andrew and Tristan Tate arrested in connection with UK police investigation. 2 brothers have been arrested in the United States of America following an investigation by police into a number of sexual offenses. Andrew Tate, 39, and Tristan Tate, 38, were arrested yesterday in Miami. They have been detained pending ongoing legal proceedings. Charges were previously authorized by CPS following a file of evidence submitted by officers from Bedfordshire Police into allegations dating back to 2012. Bedford, Cambridge, and Hertfordshire Major Crime Unit have been continuing to investigate a number of other offenses reported to both Bedfordshire Police and Hertfordshire Constabulary. As a result, 38 new charges have been now authorized against Andrew and Tristan Tate, bringing the total number of charges against the brothers to 59. Of these, 42 charges have been authorized against Andrew Tate and 17 against Tristan Tate. Assistant Chief Constable Karina Thomas said, "Officers from our major crime unit have been working closely alongside the Crown Prosecution Service and both national and international law enforcement agencies as part of this complex investigation." Okay, now this part here. Officers from our major crime unit have been working closely alongside the Crown Prosecution Service and both national and international law enforcement agencies as part of this complex investigation. Now, that's going to be really important to remember. We understand the interest that this case will generate, but we would urge the public not to speculate and to allow the legal process to be carried out correctly. There is no place for male violence against women and girls, and we will continue to work tirelessly to support victims and investigate all reports made to us. How did we get here? How did we get to this place with charges in the UK, charges in Romania? How did it all come to this? Well, let's rewind and start at the beginning. The story of the Tate brothers begins not in luxury or fame, but in a blend of American military roots, chessboard discipline, and the challenge of rough English council estate. So, Emory Andrew Tate III, or Andrew Tate, or TopG as he's known, was born on November 1st, 1986, at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. His younger brother, Tristan Tate, was born on July 15th, 1988. They have a younger sister, Janine. Their father, Emory Tate, born 1958, died 2015, was an African American chess international master and U.S. Air Force veteran known as a trailblazer in America chess circles. Their mother, Eileen Tate, is English and worked as a catering assistant. The family moved frequently in Andrew's early years, Germany and India, but after their parents' divorce in 1997, Eileen took the children to Luton, Bedfordshire, England. They lived on the Marsh Farm Council estate, which Andrew has described as one of the toughest areas. Both brothers have spoken of experiencing poverty, recalling scraping by on leftovers, and facing teasing for their American accents. Andrew attended Halyard High School and Luton Sixth Form College. Their father was largely absent during much of their upbringing. He passed away in 2015, but Andrew has often credited him with instilling mental toughness and a competitive warrior mindset through stories of chess battles and resilience. Tristan has also reflected on the family's emphasis on self reliance. Now, really, the beginning of the story of these two brothers does start with their childhood and does start with their father. And they have made a lot of really odd, wild claims about their father that aren't necessarily true. And their father was very abusive to them. And they've exaggerated a lot of his life story in their multiple tellings of when they talk about their father on shows and podcasts. So let's take a look at that before we go much farther. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is a little snippet from this weird this weird little vlog show that was done in 2006, the end of 2016 into 2017. I'll explain more what this show was, and we'll be using a lot of references from it throughout the series. But for now, it's just a really weird show where this guy was following them around and filming them. But there's all kinds of gems in this because it's really before they took off with their Hustlers University and becoming like all over mainstream podcasts and stuff like that. But they were already quite wealthy from their webcam business at this point.
My hopes for it. I heard it's pretty good. I heard it's fantastic. I heard it might be the best. Pretty sure it is, actually. The best employest.
Best hotel. And then what we doing?
That's not what I'm getting, Tate. Commentating on RXF, MMA organization. I've commentated for them for a long time. So we're going to commentate. Always good fights, lots of knockouts. It's always entertaining.
I haven't seen you do much research between.
I know everything already.
All
Ask me
knowing
to
and all
research.
seeing.
No need to research. I'm a genius. There's nothing I don't know.
Orange is best, apparently.
Orange is best for what?
Hotels.
Orange was not best for me. As it turns out, I didn't have a room in Hotel Best, but instead would be left to the streets like a dirty Romanian dog.
Okay, so the funny thing about this series is that they treat this guy that's filming very bad. At least Andrew Tate does. Like, he didn't want to do it. His brother like made some kind of arrangements with this guy. So in the first episode, the guy shows up at Andrew Tate's hotel. He just had I believe like his last fight, one of his last big fights where he made the $100,000, and then he bought an Aston Martin. So this is the first episode. All this is happening in the first episode. He's in England. He's bought an Aston Martin. He can't get back to Romania because of the snow and the Aston Martin. So they have to figure out what they're going to do about the car. And then anyway, but this guy shows up sort of in the middle of all that. And he's like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm supposed to be filming you for 2 months. And then Andrew's like, no, you're not. What are you talking about? Get away from me. And then he has to call Tristan, who shows up and says, oh, yeah, I hired this guy. I told you about it. And so Andrew has not been happy that there's this guy filming him. So he doesn't treat the guy very, very well. But so that's kind of like the backstory on that.
Thankfully, I found a friend and a hotel in Albert.
This morning was a bit to the point.
Which one?
One about black parents being the hardest.
They are though, but and the thing that was ironic about it is I said everyone thinks they know better, and the first thing people start writing under it is that the things they think they know better. I had a Scottish parent, I had an Irish parent. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. I'm not saying that and then some complete moron goes, oh, you had it harder than everyone else. No, I'm not the only person who had a black parent. You fucking, how stupid do you have to be to think I'm the only person who had a black parent? There's a nation, there's many nations, there's continents. Half the world probably had a black parent, you dumbass. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, my dad was Irish. Your dad obviously raised a because you're a so your dad was probably a so you don't know what I'm talking about. Thick as black parents are different level beatdowns. I had a friend who carried a 6-inch scar on his face. I said, how'd you get that scar? He goes, I pissed my mom off. That's how it used to go. My aunt, like, I know, see, I'm not like a black guy saying this. I'm mixed race. Half of my family, my dad's side, were all black. And then half of my family, my mom's side, were all white, Irish, in fact. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. When my black aunt got pissed off, everyone got a beat down. Me, my cousins, any kid in the vicinity, random children.
What would they get pissed off about?
Shit. Why is this room a mess? You'll see white parents will be like, why is this room a mess? And then they'll sit and talk about it. Well, Timmy, if you don't clean up, Timmy, you don't get sweets. They'll try to do some kind of business deal with a child. How can you do a business deal with a kid? Like, I barely sit down and do a business deal with another person. If I'm going to sit down with a man and do a business deal, we'll come to an agreement. I'm going to sit there with a 4-year-old and go, well, if you do what you're supposed to do, I'll reward you. Since when you brought this kid into the world, you're the only reason this kid doesn't starve to death. And now you have to do a little fucking business deal for it to do as it's told. What the fuck is that about? That's white parenting bullshit. My aunt would walk in and say, why is this room a mess? Before anyone had a chance to explain why it wasn't their fault, everyone got a whooping. Children screaming, running around the house, half naked, covered in mud. It was like Syria. That's how it went when the room was a mess. No discussions, no why, no who did it, just straight beat downs. Everyone's like, oh, I had an Irish parent. Your Irish parent to you don't know what I'm talking about. The brothers out there know. The brothers out there know what it was like when a black parent got pissed off. Shit would go flying. They're the best aim you've ever seen with an ashtray. Like fucking snipers. They should send them to fucking Iraq to take out terrorists. Give them an ashtray and piss them off. 4 miles. Bang. Clean the head. They don't know. They think they know. And I write that status, and the first thing they do is start writing under it, proving they don't know shit. You don't know shit unless you had a black parent. When you're a black parent, you realize what a beat down is.
And the real use for an ashtray.
And the real use for an ashtray is disciplining children. If I see one more stupid ass white parent do a business deal with their fucking retard child because their kid doesn't listen, and then you wonder why we got these things like ADHD and all this bollocks going around, like because our kid doesn't listen, and then you wonder why we got these things like ADHD and all this bollocks going around, like kids don't listen anymore. He's got this condition, he's got that condition. The only condition he has is a lack in discipline. That's his condition, ADHD. Of course, he doesn't want to pay. What's it called? Attention deficit disorder. He doesn't want to pay attention in school. Of course not, because school's boring. No one wants to pay attention in school. You just do it because you have to. If you raise a little kid who tells him he never has to do as he's told because you're so busy doing business deals, he's sitting there in school thinking, what do I get at the end of this? Where's the business deal? Where's the sweets at the end? Nah, this. I don't want to listen. Then he's got a condition. On the condition he has, he's never had his ass kicked. would he go up to fire and put his hand in fire? No, because he knows it's going to burn him. So if he misbehaves and he knows he's going to get a beat down, he ain't going to have a beat down. I'll cure attention deficit disorder for any child. Watch me cure it with old school violence. I'm not saying you have to abuse your children. Obviously, there's a difference between discipline and abuse. I'm not condoning child abuse. What I'm saying is if a kid's going to be a little prick, he needs a beat down. And since the dawn of human history, since the beginning of time, children have been hit when they fucked up. Since the dawn of time, and then the last 20 years, we want to come along and go, you can't smack kids. It's bad for their development. It's wrong. If it was so wrong, how come humans are here? Because we managed the last 250,000 years hitting kids who acted stupid. And now all of a sudden, the last 20 years, a bunch of leftist hippies want to come along and say it's not right. How could it not be right? If it wasn't right, it would have been extinct a long time ago. Obviously, it's right. You're just and you're afraid to discipline your child. When my child turns around and says he has ADHD, I will beat ADHD out of him within 10 solid minutes, and he will sit down in school and do as he's told. He does not need medication. He does not need a psychiatrist. He needs a beat down. Simple. If I tried to tell my dad I had ADHD, Jesus, I can't even put it into words how quickly I would have been cured. I would have been cured at the fear of being cured. That's how I would have been cured. He would have looked at me like, you're about to be cured, and I would have been cured. End of conversation, ADHD. I watched something on TV with some kid who had OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and he had to walk down the stairs in a certain order. And if he didn't walk down a certain order, he'd become panicky and have anxiety attacks. And his two parents, who were white, may I add, are sitting there saying, poor Timmy didn't walk down the stairs right. And they're unlocking the door to go back inside from the car because Timmy was upset he didn't walk down the stairs right. When's the last time you've seen a kid in Africa who has to walk 5 miles for water, turning around and doing the walk twice because he missed a step? It doesn't happen because it ain't real. It's not real. They've just pandered to Timmy and made him a dickhead because they're afraid of disciplining him. When my kid cries because he doesn't like the way he goes down the stairs, he will be thrown down the stairs. And I'll cure him instantly. ADHD ain't real. Black parents have it going on. You're not going to see no black kid with ADHD. It ain't real. No, it's always some white privilege because they don't know how to raise their children properly. That's exactly what's wrong with the entire world because people don't understand, especially for a male. I can't say about a girl or a daughter as much because I'm not a girl, but I can tell you for a man, respect and fear are very closely linked. Very closely linked at a primal level. Fear and respect are linked. So when you raise a son and he never knows fear, he never gets hit. He never has a beat down. He never feels helpless. He never feels afraid. He doesn't know the difference between a boy and a man. I knew the difference between a boy and a man. I knew fear. I knew fear like people never feel because I had my ass kicked. When you raise a son, he's never ever had that. Of course, he has no respect for anybody. You wonder why he's on the street at 14 thinking he's the hardest thing on earth because no one's ever kicked his ass. No one's ever kicked his ass. And you wonder why he's walking around thinking he's Iron Mike. Whoop his ass once. Watch him think, Ross, I better not fuck with people big. Oh, shit, I better not mess with adults. Oh, then when a policeman comes up, we'll have some respect. No one has any respect anymore because kids are raised stupid. And crime rates are going up. Kids are out the minds. And everyone's sitting there going, no, this is how we need to raise them now. Can't smack your child. You smack your child even once, even lightly, you're a child abuser and you're gonna go to jail. So what? All the times kids got hit throughout the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s was wrong when society was still held together. Now society's lost its damn mind and you're saying this is the correct way to do things. Absolute bullshit. Complete bullshit. Crazy, man. I know I don't look that dark, but I got the brother within me. My son is getting a beat down. When he fucks up, he's gonna know. My dad would be away at a chess tournament for 7 days. My mom would tell my dad, and my dad on the phone would say, see you in 7 days, son. And that was 7 days without sleep. I swear to God, I must have been the most awake child on earth. I did not sleep for weeks at a time. I'd be spending a week saying to my mom, can you tell Dad I've been good? Can you tell Dad I've been good? Please tell him I've been good. Please, Mom, talk him out of it. Talk him out of it. 1 week of cleaning the house, doing chores, Dad came home, beat down happened anyway. And no matter how many times I thought, but you know what? I was so afraid to beat down. I didn't sit and think, next time that happened, I didn't think, well, I'm not going to clean up. I'm not going to behave for the week. I was so afraid of the beat down, even though being good for a week never once worked. Clean the dishes, clean the house. It never once worked. I'd try again and again and again as some desperate attempt to prevent the beat down, which was unpreventable. The unavoidable beat down. Unavoidable. And that's how it needs to be. Kids have no fucking discipline. And people say, oh, I had a Scottish dad. Your dad's a dick. You're broke. I can see on your Facebook. Your car's shit. You're going nowhere in life. You're like,
Okay, so This tells you a little bit glimpse into his childhood. Let's see some other stuff he said about his dad.
We're going to go straight into some questions here, Andrew, if you don't mind. During one of your rants, you've mentioned losing your dad in one of the recent episodes, and people have asked me before, how do the Tates get their money? They must have inherited a shitload. Were their parents minted? Okay, and I put this to Tristan, and he said, I inherited something much more valuable than millions from my father.
Okay, so this is before they've really started bragging about the webcam business, okay? So this is before they first start making the business, like how to do this business, like how-tos. They make that stuff kind of first after they've, built their webcam business up some more, and now they're trying to branch out into like social media with it. And so they first start with some webcam like how-tos, and then they launch Hustlers University. So this is before all that. They haven't been on tons and tons of podcasts at this point, but they have done some things, and they do know some people, which we're going to get into soon. But as you can see, people who are watching this little TV series, vlog, whatever it is, they don't know that he's a hustling, webcam pimp guy. Okay.
And the ability to booze, and intelligence and the ability to booze was his answer. So could you shed some light on who your father was?
Yeah, my father was one of the best chess players in the world. He was an extremely intelligent man. He was a former CIA agent. He spoke multiple languages. He joined the army, the traditional army, and they give everyone an IQ test, and he got one of the highest scores.
Okay, so everything he's about to say about his father is not true, just so you know.
Ever recorded in the history of the American Armed Forces, and they instantly put him into the special branch of the NSA, where he learned Russian inside of 3 weeks. When he died, people were messaging me saying that they were on the same course as him, other people who were like Mensa members and geniuses and such, and they were saying that it was amazing how quickly and how far ahead he was of everyone else learning Russian. There were people who lived with Russian wives and spoke Russian at home, and within 3 weeks he was correcting their grammar on their Russian. It's crazy.
Bloody
So
hell.
he was stupid smart. I'm nowhere near as intelligent as him, but I did inherit a few important assets like the ability to throw down, and I don't really sunburn. I've got a little bit of brown in me, so it's all good.
If he was still alive, I'd say he'd be culprit number one for who stole your Aston. Because he sounds like a pretty intelligent guy.
If he was still alive, he'd be standing in that exact spot in central London looking to the people to rip their heads off. He was a lot less calm than I am. I really am quite live and let live. Shit happens. I'm not even upset about it anymore. But my dad, he was a different animal. He was a dangerous man.
Jesus. Thank God I got you to do the web series about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have laughed this long with my dad.
No, I'm starting to realise that. Question number 2 actually comes from one of our viewers. An occupational hazard of being athletes, such as ourselves, is that we're in constant danger of getting injured.
Okay, and so this is really the first documented that I can find moments when he starts exaggerating his father's life. Now, I don't know how long he's been doing that, probably for some time. The chess situation is exaggerated. He also then later on goes to claim a lot more stuff about his dad on other podcasts. It sort of just kind of grows. But let's go watch a clip from Common Sense Skeptic where they debunked a bunch of stuff that had to do with his claims about his father.
One of the first things you have to learn about Andrew Tate is that absolutely everything he tells you is a lie. You can be more generous and call it an exaggeration of the truth, but lie suits far better. Doesn't matter if he's talking about his family, his childhood, his kickboxing career, his self-proclaimed wealth, everything is exaggerated beyond the point of believability, including how this receding jawline with hair plugs is continually promoting himself as the epitome of human accomplishment. First off, Andrew Tate's name is not actually Andrew Tate. His birth name, Emory Andrew Tate III, was given him by his African-American father, Emory Tate Jr., a second-tier chess player and former Staff Sergeant Airman in the U.S. military, and his British mother, Eileen, who was a part-time dishwasher. Andy was born in late 1986, his brother Tristan in mid-1988. The two parents produced these two partners in crime, and a daughter named Janine. Janine, the youngest child, is a lawyer in the US who has very little contact with her older brothers, while the two boys are reportedly inseparable. Obviously, Janine is the smarter of the siblings. Emory Tate III now chooses to go by his middle name, Andrew. His parents divorced in 1997 when little Andy was about 12. His mother returned to England with the children, and when Andrew started making money through his kickboxing career, he decided for his mother she could retire and that he would take care of all of her expenses, which sounds very noble and generous. Until you realize that Tate's entire asset portfolio, cash and crypto, has now been seized due to being proceeds of his ongoing criminal enterprise that was funding Eileen's retirement, which she is not too happy about. Which means Eileen will probably wind up suffering as a result if she hasn't been banking some of her allowance. Tate's father, on the other hand, who Andy likes to describe as a genius as a way to pump up his own imagined intellectual prowess, died in 2015 in his 50s, so Emory Jr. was spared this chapter of his son's lives and the repercussions of it. Andy also has no qualms about calling his father abusive, and he likes to tell stories of his tragic youth suffering at the hands of Emory Jr., who was busted down from sergeant to janitor due to some conflict with his superiors. Then he was eventually drummed out of the military completely in 1992.
When they discharged him, they said he had narcissistic personality disorder.
Okay, so remember, he said that his father was in the CIA like a few minutes ago, and that he was like the most smartest guy in the military.
And the reason he said he had that is because he refused to listen to one of his commanders. And my father was arguing with him about the translation of a certain word. My father believed it was slang for something else. The superior believed it was something else. They got into a personal beef. It developed over months and months and months of arguments about translations. And eventually, my dad ended up being told to sweep outside for 8 hours a day. And I got to the point where my father got discharged. And they offered him this military pension, and he refused it. He said, "My sanity is not for sale."
Out of his diagnosed narcissistic.
Now, I would say we don't know how much of that is actually true, but it is true that his father was in the military, and then he was demoted, and then he was discharged. And when he was discharged, he was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder.
Pride, which would seem to be passed on genetically on the male side of the Tate bloodline. Emory Jr. refused his military pension, which drove his family into destitution as Emory Jr. pursued chess tournament glory and alcoholism. Another trait that seems to be genetic in the XYs of the Tate family is misogyny. Take, for example, this tweet where Andy relays how his father described his mother to him. She fed you healthy meals every day, cleaned the house, and was largely quiet. Although Emory Jr. claimed to love her very much, that's not how a loving husband describes his wife. That's how someone describes a servant, a maid, or a nanny. As the final line in the tweet states, according to Andrew, that's literally all a man wants. Andrew has since stepped up the misogyny quite a bit, but we're going to get to that later. 5 years after Emory Jr. got the boot from the military, his lady servant decided she'd had enough of being broke and cheated on, so she packed up the kids and moved back to the UK.
When my mom and dad split up, we moved to England, and my sister stopped talking to my dad because obviously my mom was upset because we split up and my dad cheated.
Yeah. She should have expected it.
When my sister stopped talking to my dad, me and my brother obviously still spoke to him. He said, "Boys, when you're older, you'll understand." And now I'm older, I understand. Yeah. He fucked a girl, so.
Yeah.
So when you see tweets like this or hear stories about how Andrew Tate's daddy was a linguistic genius CIA operative, that is a lie, told by a 7-year-old boy to his buddies to make his unemployed alcoholic father seem like less of an asshole. The problem is, Andrew still tells the story like it's real. Another lie that little Andy likes to tell about his daddy is that Emory Jr. was a genius grandmaster at chess.
My father was a chess grandmaster. I was on track to become a chess grandmaster. So
he was a legitimate chess grandmaster.
My father was the highest rated black chess player in history.
Really?
Yeah.
It is well documented that while Dad was a renowned chess player, a reported trailblazer for African American players, having won several tournaments over his lifetime, Tate Jr. never exceeded the rank of International Master, the second tier, with a max FIDE rating of 2413 in 2006, barely cracking the barrier between Master and International Master, and 87 points shy of the Grandmaster rating that his oldest son likes to credit him with.
My father was a chess grandmaster.
Again, most likely to swell Andy's own artificial, self-proclaimed intelligence level. Now, as for the other, even more outlandish claim made by Andy about his daddy,
My father was the highest rated black chess player in history.
Really?
Yeah.
Emory Tate was not, in fact, the highest rated black chess player in history. That honor belongs to Jamaican-American Maurice Ashley, who was the first black man to achieve Grandmaster in a game of chess, receiving that honor in the year 2000, 15 years prior to Emory Jr.'s death. Maurice Ashley knew of Tate, even played him to a draw in the New York Open in 1993, and wrote about Tate after his death. But Ashley rose to Grandmaster in 2000, and Tate took until 2007 to receive his second-tier international master ranking. Maurice Ashley was the first black Grandmaster, and 3 other black men have followed suit, none of them named Tate. Pontus Carlson from Sweden, awarded Grandmaster in 2007, Aman Simotawe from Zambia, awarded in 2009, and Kenny Solomon from South Africa, awarded Grandmaster in 2015. All of these men exceeded Tate's accomplishments in the chess arena during Tate's lifetime. In the same vein, Andy likes to tell the world that he himself was a chess prodigy, winning the Indiana State Championship at the age of 5 with a rating of 1600. Here's a recent tweet that he deleted and a video to go along with it.
I was state chess champion age 5 in Indiana, the under 16s. I was the youngest to ever win it. I remember I was sitting there across from some 16-year-old. When you're like 5 and a half, that's scary, right?
Okay, so this is how easily he lies. He just lies and lies. He might be making this stuff up like in the moment, right? And he has serious issues from childhood where he has to be like he has to put himself forward as exceptional. Like, oh, I'm so great. Oh, this is so great about me. Oh, my father was a CIA agent and knew Russian. You know what I mean? And he has these illusions of grandeur, but behind it is like a facade of fragility and insecurity, like big time with this guy. And I have been following this guy since probably around 2017 when most people didn't even know who he was because like I said, I'm on the far right. So I was also I watched alt-right content back in the day. And so I knew about him before a lot of other people did. Like before he became super mainstream around 2021, 2022. And I was absolutely horrified. I watch everything. You guys know how I am. I watch everything. I pay attention to everything, and especially the manosphere. So I did a lot of deep dives into the manosphere. I kept an eye on everything that they were doing because I just saw that becoming more and more crazy and unhinged and developing in a certain way and merging with the pickup artists and like just all this crazy stuff happen. And that's how a lot of this stuff comes from Gamergate. Like everything can go back to Gamergate. Like Gamergate is one of the nodes in the giant timeline of how we've gotten to this place culturally. And from there spring out all kinds of stuff, including Candace Owens, because you had people in the Gamergate that were really connected in the Gamergate communities, like Mike Cernovich, who becomes connected with Andrew Tate, Candace Owens, like just there's all this stuff. It all goes back to Gamergate, a lot of it. Anyway, that's just my little rant there.
And I remember when I beat him, he cried. That made me happy. I was like, ha. Not so big now.
At 5 years old,
yeah,
you were the Indiana State chess champion.
In the under 16s, yeah. So I was the youngest to ever win it. So I was on the way to becoming a grandmaster.
That is the story told by little Andy Tate. Wonder how truthful it is. Well, the U.S. Chess Federation has all the records. So let's see what they say. Here's little Andy's USCF profile, going by Emory Tate III. Says here he had a top regular rating of 896 and a quick rating of 1056, a little shy of the 1600 he was bragging about. This site provides records of every tournament that Andy played in, going back to October of 1992 when Andy was almost 6. In this tournament from 1992, the one he's bragging about, he came in 10th of 10 players with 4 straight losses. His dad won that tournament with 4 straight wins. Maybe Andy meant this tournament that happened a couple weeks later. No, he came in 13th of 15 with 4 losses and a bye into the second round. His dad won that tournament as well with 5 straight wins. Those are the only 2 tournaments that he entered in 1992. Also, this tournament that his dad won didn't have a 16 and under category. None of them do. The state championship tournaments especially are divided into grade levels so that children are playing other children close to their own age. He played 2 tournaments in 1993. In May, he came in dead last with 3 losses and a draw. Again, Daddy won that tournament. In October of 93, he placed 19th in a field of 22, scoring 2 points off of 2 wins in 5 games. Andrew Tate's records end in 1997 with a total of 20 events on his profile. The last event he played was in May of 1997, giving him an end rating of 896. Earlier that year, he played the Indiana State Championships in the 6 and under category in April, placing 76 in a field of 144 players, so didn't break the top half. 64 players state tournament in January of 1997, where he placed 21st in the 6th grade and under. January 1996, in the state 3rd grade and under championship field of 64, he came in 21st again. In January of 1995, same tournament level, 3rd and under, same finish, 21st in a field of 65. And in all the other registered tournaments he played between 1992 and 1997, Tate never took a top place finish, ever. His best finishes were 3rd of 5 in his 2nd grade school tournament and 5th of 39 in the reserve category of the Elkhart County Scholastic, which added 59 points towards his rating. But in most cases, Emory Tate III finished middle of the pack, if not tied for bottom position. So let's hear him tell that story again.
State chess champion age 5 in Indiana, the under 16s. I was the youngest to ever win it. So I was on the way to becoming a grandmaster.
Now, going through all of this elementary school stuff might seem petty to you, nitpicking, but you have to ask yourself this question. If Andrew Tate needs to lie about his childhood prowess while playing a board game to impress people, what else do you think he's willing to lie about to make himself seem far better than he is? As for his claims of being the smartest person on the planet, yes, that is a claim he often makes.
I'm the smartest person on this fucking planet.
His academic career is not at all impressive. The majority of Tate's schooling was done in the UK. His grand educational accomplishment is the UK equivalent of an American high school diploma, and he never attended post-secondary classes. He holds no diplomas or degrees in any discipline, although he was reportedly accepted into the Free Uni in Ascot. Tate didn't bother writing the personal statement that was required for admission, so he became ineligible to attend. Instead, he pursued a kickboxing career that would eventually give Tate a little bit of money and prestige.
Okay, so that tells you a little bit about his childhood as far as what he said about it, the facts behind it, and the clear abuse that was going on with his father and other family members, possibly. Okay, so he was born in DC. They moved around possibly a lot because of the military thing, but there's definitely ties to Indiana and Illinois. But when his parents divorced around the age of between 10 and 12, because it's different sites, say different ones, his mother moved him to Luton to live in the Marsh Farm Council Estate. Now, this is a large council housing estate suburb in Luton. It houses approximately 10,000 residents across 3,200 homes, dominated by 15-story tower blocks, surrounded by lower-rise flats and semi-detached houses. So it's like low-income housing. They renovated it as time went on and poured some money in it because it was getting quite dangerous. I don't know what those are. But it's called Marsh Farm. Okay, so Marsh Farm was widely considered dangerous and highly deprived during the early 2000s, carrying a significant reputation for crime and antisocial behavior following the major riots of 1995. Now, before we move on in the timeline, I want to show you a reporter who's done extensive research into this story. I want to show you what she said about Andrew Tate's father. Okay, so this is Heidi Blake, and she wrote the piece, which is quite extensive, called The Empire of Abuse, I believe. Empire of Abuse, where she chronicles and kind of puts everything together. But let's see what she had to say about his father.
Brings us to a sort of dark and incredibly sort of pathos-ridden context here, which is the boys are the sons of a U.S. service member, black man who served in the UK, met a British woman, and they got together and had 3 children, I believe, right? The 2 boys and a daughter. And the father seems like a fascinating, tortured, but clearly profoundly sort of like brilliant and charismatic figure. Talk a little bit about the father, who Tate says he sort of models himself after, and yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So the Tate brothers' father was called Emory Tate. As you say, he served in the U.S. Air Force. He was also a celebrated chess master after being discharged from the Air Force with conditions interfering with military service, including narcissistic personality disorder, pretty notably. And he became very paranoid in the years after his discharge. He felt this, as Andrew Tate has himself described, his father felt that the world was a scary place in which people were out to get you, and felt that the family car was being followed and that they were being monitored by the CIA, and told his sons, your Tates, they're going to come for you too. And so this kind of this paranoid worldview that the Tate brothers have, in which everything, any kind of consequence they ever face is a matrix attack, is like the system out to get them. You can see its roots in what their father taught them. But not only that, he was extremely violent with them. Tristan Tate described to me how when he stepped out of line from like the age of 7, his dad would beat him with a belt until his skin was striped red. And Andrew Tate has talked about lying awake for hours at night in terror of being beaten by his father. But in the brothers' telling of this is all an essential part of becoming a man. And they've both spoken about how they will beat their own children, and they think this is important. And so you can just see this sort of intergenerational story of trauma and brutality passing down from one generation to the next. And not only that, but their father left a number of social media posts which kind of seemed to serve as an ideological roadmap for Andrew Tate. He talked about the insanity of the ruling elite, the matrix, and the repression of alpha males. And he kind of argued that mature men should be allowed to have sex with pubescent girls. And he occupied a number of these stances, which have, really kind of closely track with the kinds of things that Andrew Tate tends to say online. So their father was a huge influence, and it's very clear that these guys were, to my mind, traumatized as very small children. And that we are now all feeling the consequences of that, because the extent of their global fame is such that their own trauma is now playing out, in millions of homes where young men are now espousing these kinds of violent and toxic views.
Yeah, he said at one point, I think he said, my father was a monster who raised a monster as he should, or something like that. There's some line along those lines that, he was abusive and terrible, and I was terrified of him, and that's the right way to do it. And I look forward to hitting my kid, he says.
That's right. Yeah.
How broad, there was a somewhat successful effort to deplatform Andrew Tate and the Tates after the charges in Romania. But it seems like some of Elon Musk.
Okay, so I feel like this is really good to start off with our timeline here, because I do feel like so much can be learned just from knowing that little bit about his childhood and about his father. So moving on. So in the mid 2000s, Andrew becomes interested in kickboxing, and his brother follows suit, and they begin sort of their kickboxing career, which they don't do too bad in, although he overestimates it, and there's weird stuff going on with his record that doesn't make a whole lot of sense in some in some areas that we'll go over, but it's really like this one division, and I don't know much about kickboxing, but it's not MMA. And he always makes it seem like that. Like he's always like, "Oh, I have 4 world championships in fighting." And then people take away as if it's MMA or something else, but like it's really just this niche kickboxing group. So let me see if I can show you that. So let's just see some of the stuff he talks about with his fighting. Now, this was a pretty big part of their lives, and he had to travel a lot to do that, which will come in importantly as we develop this story and move forward into the webcam business.
My fighting style is very relaxed, very elusive, low defense for optimum attack. I like.
Okay, so this was sometime in 2017, and at some point when I get it ready, I will show you guys a chart, or maybe Common Sense Skeptic has one. You can tell the ages of Andrew Tate based off of his appearance. And so this here, he was still fighting. So this is probably around 2016, 2017, possibly early 2017. This might have been when he was in Thailand in some of those episodes of the TV vlog, The Hateful Tate. But so this is in Thailand.
To fight as a counter striker. I like my opponent to swing, miss, and whenever they make a mistake and they're left open, I like to punish them, especially to the body. The body is full of weak areas. As resilient as a human body is, the torso has the solar plexus, it has the kidneys, it has the liver, and a shot in any one of these is going to hurt. I believe fighting is tag. We all played tag as a kid. You got to get hit and not get hit back. And if you do that quickly and you do that effectively, that's all fighting really is in my mind. If you get angry, you get frustrated, you start to make mistakes and you're going to lose. The only way to win a fight is to stay calm, remember what you've trained for. It's a lot more difficult than people at home think. This is war, and it's chaotic, and it's fast, and it's loud, and someone's trying to hurt you as much as they possibly can.
Okay, so this was 14 years ago. So this would have been way far back. And he did make money with these fights. And I believe one of the last fights that he took was the largest he made, which he says he made $100,000. And then he bought an Aston Martin, probably not saying that right. And that would have been December-ish, like December 14th, 2016. So he was winding down the fighting. I think that might have been the last fight he took, or very close to the last fight he did. And then I think he had like one more fight in like 2020 just as a thing. Now, we're going to continue on with this timeline because there's a lot of important stuff in the early parts of the Tate brothers' lives that a lot of people don't know about. But Common Sense Skeptic did a really good bit on this whole kickboxing thing, because later on in life, he really, like, during the podcast years where he was bragging about himself constantly on podcasts, like, really said a lot of stuff about his boxing career that wasn't accurate, but he did do the boxing and he did win in this niche. uh Common Sense Skeptic will break it all down, but he did win world championship in that narrow field that he was in 4 times. So, and I think I have that broken down somewhere. Okay, so before we get into the Common Sense Skeptic, so June 5th, 2011, he won the ISCA World Full Contact Light Heavyweight title. Then in March 9th, 2013, he won the ISCA Full World Contact Light Cruiserweight title. In March 15th, 2014, he won the ISCA World Full Contact Heavyweight title. And then in June 2014, June 29th, 2014, he won the Infusion Live World title. So that around the last world title that he won, which would have been June 2014, it was around that time that he decided to get into webcam. I think maybe a little bit before that, he might have been dealing drugs. We'll get into that. But just so you know, it was the not making enough money off of fighting is why he turned to the webcam business. So let's go see what Common Sense Skeptic has to say about this boxing records.
Instead, he pursued a kickboxing career that would eventually give Tate a little bit of money and prestige. Tate proudly announces that he is a 4-time international kickboxing champion. That is his first and only somewhat legitimate claim to fame. But as with everything else Tate-related, even the stats of his kickboxing career are suspect. For example, if you go to Tate's Wikipedia page, you'll see in the right-hand column a kickboxing record of 76 wins, 23 by knockout, and 9 losses. Below that, he has a very average MMA record of 2-1 from fights in 2007 and 2010. So when people describe Tate as an international MMA champion, that is completely false. If you scroll down on that page, you can see a list of the recorded fights that Tate had. There are 31 fights listed here, not 85. There are 8 KOs, not 23. And there are 8 losses, not 9. And although the platform states the list is incomplete, where are those other fights? Who is in charge of the bookkeeping at ISKA that somehow misplaced the result of 54 Andrew Tate fights? The U.S. Chess Federation has the state records from when Tate was 5 years old. So what gives? Either the list is incomplete, missing about 2/3 of the information, or, more likely, a lot of those fights are imaginary, just like Tate's chess state championship title. Henry Cejudo had some thoughts on Tate's record after breaking down some of Tate's performances.
And today we're going to be breaking down the one and only Andrew Tate. Going up against Miralem Atmati, 2020. But look at Miralem's record, guys. 3 wins, 2 losses, 24. This is what kickboxing typically tend to do. They typically do what they do is they pad your record like you wouldn't believe. I mean, for this guy to have more than 80 fights, I mean, this is 2020. Yeah, okay, so he was 70.
Okay, so this is in the future when he was doing kickboxing again, and his record just didn't seem to line up with what this guy's going to break it down. It just didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, but he certainly did do well when he was younger. It just isn't as extreme as he makes it out to be.
5-9 here. So I don't know when is it that he retired, but he shouldn't be fighting a guy that's 3-2 or 2-3. It's absolutely ridiculous. So this is against Kazmin Lingar. Again, for a guy who's 76-9, I mean, he's going up against a guy that has is making his debut. This is what I'm saying, man. A lot. This is where you guys, you fans, you people that follow guys that you guys think are good fighters. This dude's making his damn debut against a guy that has over 80 fights, which is ridiculous. In other words, this is what you call a tomato can. I mean, he seems like a pretty smart dude, but he also has a padded record. So you can have 80 fights and fight 80 different scrubs. You put a guy like with Andrew Tate with Jake Paul, I think Jake Paul gets it done fairly quickly.
While we're here, check out the screenshots of those two fights from 2020. Notice anything unusual about Andrew's stats? When he was fighting the guy that was 3-2, Tate's record on the screen was 40-7. 10 months later, when he was fighting the tomato can, his last fight on record, by the way, Tate's record had somehow jumped to 75-9. So his true record is anybody's guess. Regardless of his actual record, Tate's ability in the ring as a strict counter-striker was not strong enough to impress Arthur from the channel YouTube Boxing. We'll let him explain why.
Andrew Tate does have kickboxing skills. He's fast for his weight and has good reflexes, but he lacks kickboxing basics. He's not a championship caliber fighter. Tate is a tough mid-tier fighter. If he really was a world-class fighter, he would have been willingly invited to compete in K1 or Glory, because Andrew's peak came at a time when both leagues existed. Andrew himself said that in this world, you need to earn everything. Things find their value if they are difficult to achieve. Unfortunately for him, he did not achieve the title of a real-world champion in kickboxing.
Andrew Tate guy, if you were wondering, is he legit or is he just, so-so? He's so-so. Any kickboxer who's half decent at his weight class within Glory or 1FC, any of those guys are going to annihilate him.
Okay, so this is what I was trying to explain earlier. In the ISCA, where he won the championships, the ISCA, it was a very niche, small thing. And that's what these guys are talking about. Or there's these other divisions or groupings, like a different, altogether class, whatever, that he never went into or achieved at all.
Arthur, the narrator, also describes ISCA, the International Sport Karate Association that became the International Sport Kickboxing Association, the organization through which Tate won his titles.
ISKA is one of the international bodies regulating sport karate and kickboxing matches. The pool of athletes competing in this very narrow fighting style is nowhere near that of boxing or kickboxing. These types of kickboxers typically do not do well in MMA. These tournaments are rather semi-professional for those who could not get into the major leagues. To make it clearer, being an ISCA champion is like in MMA being a Bellator or 1FC champion. In the world of MMA, there is only one title that matters, and that is the UFC belt.
So Tate's prowess in the ring against a very narrow field of competitors is largely overstated, but his earnings in that sport certainly are not. The best purse Tate collected for any of his efforts in kickboxing came in about 100 grand. Compare that to the Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather boxing match, where McGregor got paid $30 million even though he lost the fight. Mayweather, on the other hand, was guaranteed $100 million for the same fight, win or lose, and that was in 2017 dollars. Safe to say, although Andrew Tate was competing at this same time, he did not, and likely could not, compete at their level. Tate effectively retired from kickboxing in 2017, citing the multiple surgeries he had on his weak eyes to reconnect his retinas. We'd also add his glass jaw that dropped him like a stone anytime a competitor landed one on his button.
Okay, so they started their kickboxing careers mid-2000s. And so, 2025 or 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. But they did start also a few other random things. So in 2010, Andrew appears on The Ultimate Traveler. And this was one of his first television appearances, and he was 23 years old. Now, he was working for an advertising agency that he, I guess, told the show he owned. Also, says later on, like in that TV vlog, The Hateful Tate, that he owned an advertising agency then as well. But as far as I could tell, he actually only just worked for an advertising agency. Let me see if I can find the deets on that. Okay, so he worked for the Luton advertising agency around 2008 to 2010, approximately between the ages of 21 and 23. On The Ultimate Traveler, around the same period, he says he owns or operates an advertising company in Luton. At first, we wondered if it was a traditional advertising agency, but there is very little independent evidence that it was a sizable marketing firm. Instead, it appears to have been a small entrepreneurial venture while he was kickboxing, trying to build a business, and before the webcam operation became his primary focus. So you can still find this Ultimate Traveler on YouTube, and so I did find that. Let me pull that up. So this is the first episode of The Ultimate Traveler. So let's watch this together.
21-year-old Anglo-American Andrew Tate is a straight-talking entrepreneur with his own advertising company in Luton.
I'm very mentally strong. If I want to achieve something, I will achieve it, because I've never been in a situation in my life so far in my 21 years where I really wanted something and didn't get it.
Okay, so you heard that, with his own advertising company in Luton, which is not true.
I'm not sure what my fellow travelers will be like. The worst kind of people would either be two-faced people, which is undoubtedly going to happen at some point during this trip. People who seek attention, and anyone who thinks they're exceptionally smart or exceptionally physically capable and they have nothing to back it up. It's going to quickly get on my nerves.
Someone's coming, someone's coming.
Also, it said he was 21, but based on when this was, he should be 23. So it's a little confusing.
This is where everyone else is.
You all right?
I'm not bad. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Right.
You all right?
Andrew?
Chantel.
Gareth.
Fantastic.
For the three who have arrived and the three who are on their way, their journey through Indonesia will start here in Jakarta. And then 2 months later, almost 3,000 kilometers east on Mount Kelimutu. En route, they'll go through Java, the party islands of Bali, Gili and Lombok, as well as the more remote islands of Sumbawa and Flores. After reaching their final destination, they must decide individually who among them deserves to be called the ultimate traveller and walk away with £10,000 prize money.
So hot.
Here we go.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hello, you're right, Chloe.
Where are you from?
From France. Do you like Hammersmith? I think you're posh part London. Where are you from? Hackney, London.
Hey up, someone's here again. Someone's coming. Hello.
Hi.
Fellow traveller.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Maddie Claire. Chloe, nice to meet you. Chantel.
Gareth.
Andrew.
With 5 novice backpackers already at the meeting point, 19-year-old cheeky chappy and ladies man Nathan Dunlop will be the last person to join them.
My mates always say I'm always the one up for a laugh and that, like always like the lad one in the bars or something or wherever we go. Like, not saying I'm a comedian or nothing, but hopefully I'll make people laugh sometimes. Like, madness, this, isn't it? You alright, everyone? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Whoa.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Nathan, innit? I'm from Barnsley, South East London. Well, has everyone got lots of travel experience? Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Oh,
My impressions of everyone else is good. Like, I think everyone's on the same wavelength as me. I think the girls are all beautiful, mate. They're all pretty stunning. Like, I'd like to get to know them a bit more. Hopefully, like you never know what could happen. You never know, like, see. So.
Okay, so I guess we've got to go.
I think because you're holding the guide, you should be in charge. I think this is going to be proper hard. I think it's going to be a big time hard. To be honest, I'm struggling now. I reckon after a week, I'll know what I've got myself in for. But now I'm having like scary moments, like scary thoughts. So I'm just pretty much can't keep calm.
Coming up.
I can't look at him and feel sorry for him. I look down on him like he's an idiot, and I wish I didn't because I've lost all respect for the guy.
It's mad with everyone staring at me.
Jakarta, the bustling capital city of Indonesia, where 30 minutes ago, 6 inexperienced backpackers met for the very first time.
It smells horrible, that stuff there, man.
Over the next 2 months, they must compete against each other for the title of Ultimate Traveller as they find their own way from Jakarta to Mount Kelimutu via 8 different locations. The first being Lembang, a 4-hour train journey southeast of Jakarta, which they must reach by the end of the week.
This road is madness.
Here, the 6 must individually vote on who the best traveller of the week has been. To win votes, it is vital that each person impresses their fellow travellers at all times.
Go that way. I don't know. I think we should ask before we go left or right. We could do left or right, I think.
Without access to their mobile phones or the internet, they must travel using only a basic guidebook and on a daily budget of just 200,000 rupiah, about £12 each.
Our first task is getting across this road. I've never seen traffic like this before, mate. There's not a space to even walk in between.
Should we cross?
Yeah, come.
Let's just
Let's
cross.
go.
Let's just stop.
We ain't getting across it. Are you in a boat? Oh my days. Indonesia, I think it's like Mars to me. It's like an alien planet, but I can't just go up to someone and say, "Excuse me, do you know what this is?" Because they'll be like, "Well, what?" I think the language barrier will be the hardest thing for me, and the climate. So.
Okay, we're just gonna sit here, have a drink, and I think that's the best thing we can do. And then just like plan what we want to do after that, and like maybe get someone to stay for tonight.
Night sleeping rafting.
Yeah.
As the sun sets in Indonesia around 6 each evening, if the group want to find accommodation before nightfall, they have just 1 hour left.
I'm absolutely scared, like to the max. To be honest, I'm really, really worried. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I am. I can already feel a bit like homesick as well. Like, God knows what I'll be like in a week and 2 weeks or whatever. I know, mate.
Guys, 3,000. Let's get
how much?
3,000. So that's 2,000 less. Which is not too bad.
Let's do that.
30,000. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'm in there.
With time running out before sundown, Chloe takes the lead and barters a good deal for 2 taxis in order to speed up their search for affordable accommodation. After 20 minutes of driving, the 6 travellers finally spot a hostel and decide to have a look at the rooms.
Is there a shower? Don't break it.
I think it's just stuck, yeah.
Toilet.
It's
showerish thingy.
Toilet/shower. How much is it? This is 130, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yo, we'll have to go look around. Okay,
Yeah.
Alright, it's nice little. Well, it's got a fan. Yeah, grand. So I think maybe this would be a good idea, man. It's only got this bit though. There's a shower.
That's not a shower, that's a tap.
A shower. I'm starting to realise how good stuff is like elsewhere. It's quite raw, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Yeah, with the sleeping bag, that'd be fine.
Honestly, I'm not kidding. Like, this is probably as good as what we had on holiday. That doesn't say much about our holiday. Where was your holiday? Gran Canaria. Okay. Have they made the decision?
It's for you, air conditioning. No, I think it's air conditioning. The standard of accommodation is nothing I'm used to at all, and I find it quite scary, to be honest. Like, security-wise, it's nothing close to like what you'd have on a normal holiday that I've been used to.
This guy is not doing well. Like, he's panicking, you know? He's I think he's like, it's even worse in his brain than what we're seeing on the screen. You know, like when you panic in your mind.
But it's worth experiencing these kind of things, really, I think, just so you can get used to this whole travel experience.
Despite the group's initial reservations about the standard of accommodation, they decide that it's too late to continue the search, and the boys take one room.
Yeah, that's all right.
This is us, mate. It's all right.
while the girls share another at a cost of 40,000 rupiah each, about £2.50, just 1/5 of their daily allowance.
Oh, I don't like it in here.
Have we got paper?
Just have a look. What is it?
Have a look.
Like white things.
I don't want to look at it. There's chewing gum and a condom.
Oh my god, that's disgusting. That is so foul.
Roads are mad out here. Crossing the road.
After freshening up, our exhausted and jet-lagged group, still acclimatizing to the heat and humidity of Indonesia, head out for a drink.
They're probably just playing something over. Yeah.
While Gareth, who has admitted to feeling homesick since arriving in Jakarta only 6 hours ago, has decided to remain at the hostel and have an early night.
First day has been pretty much quite tough, really tiring. I'm absolutely knackered. And if anything, like, I feel a bit, I don't know, a bit worried. Everybody else seems to be fine, getting on and stuff. I don't know, I find it quite daunting. As far as the first day goes, I think, like, I've pretty much, like, fallen to pieces, really.
It's a bit mad that Gareth didn't come. Like.
He's he's not feeling it. He's not feeling up to that.
I think like once he's had to sleep and stuff, he'll be fine.
Hopefully, because it's day one of a
He can have a cold shower that will wake him up a bit, and then he can have a sleep. Whatever.
If he can't
in the morning, he'll feel fresh and that, and hopefully he'll be up for a lot.
My opinion is it's just easy to look down on Gareth for being so weak-minded. I just hope when people do struggle or when they do have these problems, they understand that it's extremely selfish to hold the whole group up or to slow us all down because they're feeling homesick, and they just get on with it and let us do what we need to do and have fun. Because if we're not feeling down, the last thing we want to do is be sitting around while someone mopes about, or we can go out and party.
I'd like to get to Lembang because Lembang's where the activities are, and I'd like to do as much of those as possible. I don't want to just travel, you know?
It's day 2, and after a good night's sleep, our backpackers have found a local cafe and are planning their next move over a late breakfast.
Are we getting there by 5?
While most of the group are eager to get to Lembang, their first destination, as soon as possible, homesick Gareth is still wondering whether backpacking is really for him.
Right, to be honest, I reckon I've had pretty, tough time. I've had to adjust really, to this. It's really different to home and stuff, but hopefully, I'm not the only one who's having, reservations and stuff, I
feel 100% fine. It's a huge opportunity I've got for nothing.
I feel absolutely scared, to be honest. I'm not... I'm gonna try my best, man. I'm gonna really try my best. But it's gonna be hard and stuff.
With their stomachs full, the 6 backpackers take a taxi to the local train station. This will be the first time they have taken public transport since arriving in Indonesia.
Yeah, one person, business, 25,000. Yeah.
After buying train tickets at a cost of 25,000 rupiah, equivalent to about £1.50 each, the group of 6 board the 3:30 to Bandung.
Will that stay?
A 4-hour journey that will see them arrive after sundown in another unfamiliar city.
No, I can't stay here, mate.
Soon after the train leaves Jakarta, Gareth falls asleep, while the others take in the passing scenery.
I'm glad to see we're leaving it. I'm glad to see we're leaving Jakarta, But yeah, I didn't think I'd be leaving it looking at the train, So you probably get arrested in England if you open up the door like this, but this is quality,
3 hours later, and Andrew is starting to lose patience with homesick 20-year-old Gareth, who hasn't spoken to anyone since boarding the train.
To me, it's just alien, and I can't help but look on it as moronic. I can't look at him and feel sorry for him. I look down on him like he's an idiot, and I wish I didn't because I've lost all respect for the guy. Honestly, he's had life way too easy for far too long. And one day or another, he needs to grow up. And I think today is probably a good day to do it.
Finally, after 4 long hours, the train pulls into Bandung Station.
Whoa.
Lembang, the destination they must reach this week, is still another hour's drive north.
Are you the minibus man?
Are you the man with the minibus?
And 20-year-old Chloe is determined they leave immediately and get there tonight.
Can we get the guy?
150 divided by 6.
Hang on.
Hoping this will give them a couple of days to relax and sightsee before they must gather at the end of the week to decide who's been the best traveller so far.
150,000.
It's 150,000 for this bus to go to Lembang, full of us.
Perfect. Great.
Even though they should be managing their limited budgets carefully, last night's experience of such basic accommodation isn't one they want to repeat tonight.
That's like okay, we want to go to the most amazing one, which
that's
is
more than our hotel.
Grand Hotel Lembang.
After bartering a price of 150,000 rupiah, almost £9 between them, our 6 board a local minibus to take them to their luxury accommodation.
Can we have the windows down, please? Child lock.
En route, the group, apart from Gareth, reflect on their train journey from Jakarta.
Did you guys not think like the scenery was really nice? I don't know if you saw the I don't think not. I don't think not. It was made you realise like how poor, yeah.
They may be happier than we are. There's people in London who are so
They
stressed.
look happy. They look so happy. All the little kids like playing football by the side of the train.
There's people in London with £1 million houses who are stressed out over interest rates. Do you know what I mean? At least they don't care. They might be happy with what they've got.
Yeah, they've got a chopper.
The FTSE 100 and the Dow Jones doesn't affect them. They don't matter. Do you know what I mean?
I don't even know what they are. So.
Stock markets.
Yeah. I don't think we have them in Scotland.
I think you do.
It's weird seeing him at this age before he's started his, webcam business and his, trafficking and total abuse of women. This was in 2010. So I believe the charges might go back to 2012. We will get into that, but just think about that. 2012 for Tristan, I think, possibly. I know that they at least start in 2014 for both of them, but there's one I think that goes back to 2012, which we'll get into, but just, does he not just seem like a normal, like young boy here? It's kind of surreal to like watch him interact. Now, this is the first episode, so it could get like, you could see more come out of him as this goes on.
This is it. Oh, we have. Oh, there's a drag. Oh my god, okay, right, so we're entering the hotel.
After an hour on the road, the tired group finally arrive in Lembang and spot their hotel.
It's so oh my god, it's so nice. It looks like amazing. Look, it's like
I told you to have faith. See?
But it's flat though. Hang on, we haven't seen the room yet.
The daily room cost at this hotel is 450,000 rupiah, almost £27 per room, with a maximum of 3 people sharing.
Can you use a calculator, Andrew?
If they stay here, each person will be paying £9 a night, almost £7 more than the hostel they opted for in Jakarta.
We're one party, they're one party.
Considering they have a daily budget of just under £12 each, which must cover food, travel and accommodation, staying in this hotel is a luxury they can ill afford.
Does the toilet flush?
After dumping their bags, most of the group head straight for the hotel restaurant.
Where's Gareth?
You didn't want
Same as everywhere. Not with us.
We don't think he likes me and Nathan.
He can stay with us.
I don't know. I don't think he will, probably. He says he's just getting changed, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't come down there.
Gareth, who has struggled since arriving yesterday and who has barely spoken to anyone since leaving Jakarta this afternoon, has an announcement to make to the rest of the group.
I've been having a think, and I've just pretty much decided that I'm wanting to leave, really. And I'm pretty much like 100% like I want to leave, and I've thought it through, like all the things about it. And
so what's the main reason you're leaving then? What are you so uncomfortable with?
it's a bit of everything. Like, I just know in myself personally, like I don't want to do it, and I want to leave you to form, you know, get your like group going and stuff. I'm sorry if it like hasn't impacted me, you know, like you're all proper sound people, like they're proper chuffed to meet you all, like big time.
If that's what you want to do, we can't stop you. You know, you have to go home.
I think you've got to come here expecting the worst, and then everything will just get better from there. And I think he's come here expecting that he's going to get maybe a holiday or something.
I don't sympathise with why he's leaving. I don't sympathise with his reasons. I can't feel sorry for him because it's just, it really, for want of a better word, it's pathetic. It's like, come on, get on with it. It's really childish, and I'm glad he's going because it was getting on my nerves, to be honest.
I've completely underestimated this whole thing, and for what it really is, I'm happy to say that I'm glad I'll be going.
You're looking forward to getting back home.
It's the following day, and after last night's announcement to the group that he wanted to leave, despite having only been in Indonesia for 2 days, Gareth heads back to Jakarta to fly home.
Sweet, mate. Sweet.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet
you.
Hi, Hi, you take that, yeah?
You'll be all sound. No, you will not like me. Right, I'll see you later. Yeah. Flight now, innit? Take care, yeah. All right, see you later. Just 5, mate. He's gone. That's it, mate.
After the break,
it's like proper stealth here.
The boys go on the run.
This is dodge, mate.
It's late afternoon, and our 5 competing travellers are in the town of Lembang, a 4-hour train journey southeast of Jakarta, and the first location of 8 that they must visit during their 2-month journey through Indonesia.
The food market, you know, is it famous?
In 2 days, they must all gather for their first official end-of-week meeting and vote individually for who among them has stood out as the best traveller so far.
Oh, just outside? Yes. Literally here?
Keen to win votes, Chloe is determined today that she will experience some real Indonesian culture.
Your taxi?
And negotiates the best way to get to a night market she's heard about on the outskirts of Bandung, a 1-hour drive south.
How much? How much?
Managing to convince Marie Claire and Chantel to join her,
We're not going to the food market, so...
Okay, well, see you guys back at the hotel.
Chloe barters a price with a local minibus to take them to the night market, leaving the boys to explore the culture on offer in Lembang.
Just keep your eye out for anything that looks interesting, mate. I'll keep your eye out.
However, the boys are soon distracted, and any plans to sightsee are quickly forgotten.
We're going to have a little butch down here, mate.
When they spot a place where they can play computer games.
Okay.
Yeah, we played some games, yeah? Pay you, yeah?
Yeah.
That's enough? Yeah. Thank you, yeah. We weren't up the food market or anything anyway, so it's not the most exciting of things, so we could do that back at home, I could do it anyway, so...
Really? Oh, yeah, that's it. I'm on you. I just flipped my button like an idiot. Doing a wheelie, like a show off.
It's just mad about it. You always got to think about budget, like, you're not used to that, ain't it? Like, it's mad.
After blowing almost 3/4 of the following day's allowance on playing computer games for most of the afternoon, Andrew and Nathan are back at the hotel discussing the...
Okay, so they blew 3/4 of their next day's budget on playing those video games.
The competition.
If I vote for you and you vote for me, the girls are going to vote amongst themselves, and because there's more of them, a
a girl's always going to get the prize.
With their first official end-of-week meeting approaching, where all 5 must individually vote for who they think the best traveller so far has been, Andrew is already thinking tactically as to how to secure votes.
You need to try and bridge the gap. And like, I need to vote for you and you need to vote for Chantel or something. One of us needs to vote for one of the girls to try and make it look like, to try and remove the divide. Because if we keep the divide there, we're totally lost. But otherwise, we might be able to entice the girls to give one of us a vote. So we should decide tonight, like one of us will vote for the other one, and then one of us will vote for one of the girls to try and remove the gap.
Tomorrow, each person must vote for who they think has been the best traveller so far. Whoever wins this vote will receive an extra 50% on top of their daily allowance for the following week.
And that's the side here.
So far, the girls have managed their budget well and have enough money to spend their last night in Lembang at their luxury hotel.
You might as well just try to find something really cheap with just 2 beds in it. It's only a night, isn't it?
However, after blowing most of today's allowance on their computer...
So you know how Andrew Tate is always saying how girls are stupid and lazy and they can't like do anything and they don't know anything about taxes and blah, blah, blah. But yet here in the show, the girls are like managing their money. They're, organizing the rides. They're doing everything. And they're just like, they blew all their money and they can't even stay in this hotel now.
To Games marathon yesterday, the boys cannot afford another night of extravagance. With no other choice, the sorry pair check out and begin their search for more basic accommodation.
This ain't the nicest weather. I think we look for the grottiest one available at the moment.
Sounds good to me, bro.
Room discount 50% there. Hello, we'd like to know how much a room is for 2 people. How much money for... does anyone speak English? No. I don't think we can get through it.
Looks hard.
I think we should just...
While Andrew and Nathan head off to try their luck elsewhere...
I think that Andrew, he's arrogant.
He's openly arrogant though, he meant
Yeah.
At the hotel, the girls take refuge from the rain and gossip about the boys.
And Nathan's like someone who would love to meet, who you see down the pub, who you just think is hilarious. Yeah.
It's really bad though because we have no one to fancy and I'm not used to that.
Well, they don't like Andrew very much. Imagine that.
I'm going to end up thinking the fancy Nathan. Oh, we need to meet more people.
It's 2 ghetto.
Full house? Full house.
It's just us 2. Oh, you're full?
Full.
No
Okay,
problem.
terima kasih.
Nathan and Andrew have been looking for a cheap hotel for well over an hour, but haven't been able to find anywhere within their budget.
There's nothing else in town. We've looked everywhere. It's not like we haven't put effort in, so we're just going to tell the girls that we're sharing a room with them.
Share a room
in this hotel.
Hello?
Girls.
Oh my God. Where have you guys been?
Trying to look for hotels for us.
Did it not work?
No.
So where? Oh my God.
It hasn't worked.
We spent 2 hours walking all the way up and back.
Trying to talk Indonesian to everyone.
Yeah, a couple of them were fully booked. All the rest were too expensive. The only solution I can think of is if we stay here again, but we're going to have to share a room, all 5 of us. It's the only way.
We're not allowed to. We asked them the first night.
At the Grand Hotel Lembang, unless you pay, you are not allowed to crash in another person's room. And to stop this from happening, the hotel employs a team of 24-hour security guards who closely monitor the front entrance.
So should we just
Okay, let's just sneak someone in.
Yeah, let's just not say anything. They won't know. We've checked out officially.
Really?
Let's
So-
sneak someone in.
Yeah.
So we'll
We're going to
just-
have to.
And you don't mind sharing a room with the boys?
No, we have
We
no
have to, yeah,
other. There's no other way.
No, there isn't. Nathan and I will walk straight out the hotel and meet you up front, and we can go get something to eat. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go.
We searched for hotels and that for like 2 hours, and after all that, we're staying in the same place in them girls' rooms. So we got to try and do espionage, trying to get past all.
Okay, so this is like a foreshadowing into the future where he has his whole everything he owns, all of his money, everything that he has is built off the backs of women, you know. So
All the security guards and stuff, we had to do it. We didn't have a choice, really. So.
Later that evening, in an attempt to save money, the group have been to the local grocery store to buy food that they can eat in the girls' hotel room.
You sneak in or
But the boys, as non-paying guests, have got to get past hotel security first and ask the girls to distract them.
If you can you?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, go on, that's it then. Oh, this kid is bad.
I like your uniform. Where did you get it from? The badges and stuff is really nice.
Oh, the whole brand is so
Where did you get it from?
Yeah.
Like, did you make it or did you buy it?
Got proper shelf there.
Can I try on your hat? What? Your hat? This? Yeah, can I try it? Here we go.
This is dodge, mate. Your wrist are getting cold.
Bye.
Bye.
I think Indonesia surprised me quite a bit because I thought I was coming to a third world country, and it's kind of better than I thought it was.
Later that evening, and with the boys successfully stowed in the girls' bedroom, the group get a chance to reflect on their first week in Indonesia and speculate on tomorrow's meeting, where they must vote individually for who they think has been the best traveller so far.
Does everybody think that they know who they're going to vote for? Do you think it'll be kind of like on the spot decision?
I reckon it'll be on the spot decision. I ain't got a clue really. So
It's really difficult as well because it depends how you're going to judge it. Are you going to judge it by the person you like the most and who you enjoyed your time with the most, or the person who was genuinely best at bargaining down the prices, or the person who you feel safest with when you walk down the street? It's intangible. It's a very difficult reason to choose.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Choose who's the best traveler, you know? So it's hard.
I think for me, it's more like who's added to the experience and who's sort of, you know, really shown that they're interested in and involved in the experience, and like who's engaging with it. That's what I would say.
If I didn't win this week and then I really, really wanted to win, what could I do different? So I think it's hard. I think
As much as it'll be difficult to like do votes and stuff like that, I'm really looking forward to getting to the next stage of what we're going to be doing.
it's like mixed feelings tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly looking forward to voting, but I do want to get
It
to see other stuff as well. So.
Yeah. It might be like a new beginning every week as well. So it might be like a new adventure, a new kind of thing. So
About that. You never know. We could be in the rainforest tomorrow if there is one in Indonesia. I don't know.
I don't think I will be voted Traveller of the Week this week. I think the girls might vote for each other and the boys might vote for each other. Everyone else feels like they sort of sussed everybody out. I think some of them think they've sussed me out, when I think that, you know, it takes a bit longer to really fully understand people.
I'm going to vote for Chloe. The main reason I'm voting for Chloe is because I don't think anyone else will. And I think that having my vote as her only vote is going to hold a huge merit. So really, I'm just trying to manipulate her, put her on the side, make her a usable weapon at some point. But I am playing the game. I'm not interested in the money at the end.
Well. Manipulation, huh?
And I'm not interested in the 50% extra budget. I'm interested in winning. And the only reason I'm interested in winning is because I don't think I'll be able to. I'm going to have to manipulate a lot of people to win. But that's what I want to do. I want to win just so I can go home and say, yeah, I won. I manipulated them all. They somehow thought I was the best traveler.
Coming up,
Hello, guys. This video is sponsored by me. I wanted to show you guys how you can support my channel if you choose to do so. So here is my hub for everything. It is my merch store and also where I have my community. You can join my community here where we will do like fun stuff together. And then if you wanted to be an even just more supporter, then there's just this higher tier. So just 2 tiers. And then I have these products that I've made. So these are the featured products. So this one, you know, because YouTube is always after me for alien abduction because they're obsessed with my subs. The YouTube gods work in mysterious ways. So I don't know, but anyone who has subbed has saved me from alien abduction. So I made this shirt. And there's all kinds of cute designs on here. I really like this one, Eclectic Aliens. Down here, you can go to the different collections. So there's mushrooms, there's fun designs. I'm trying to do things that people would like actually like to wear instead of just shirts with my logo. Here's the mushroom collection that I've been working on. And then also, if you just want to donate, down here at the bottom, there is a donate section and you can actually send a message and ask me a question. And then there's these buttons here for 5, 10, 20, or custom. And so if you click one of these, it takes you to this page where you can pay with PayPal, Cash App, Amazon, bank, which probably nobody does that. That's crazy. And then credit card. So there's several different ways to pay. This, I actually get 100% of it because it's a donation. So there's no percentage taken out of this except for the percentage of the processing, you know, just like when you use a credit card or anything, there's a processing fee. So that is all that is taken out. And then down at the bottom has my most recent videos on YouTube. So this is a pretty cool little hub. So this is where you want to go if you want to support me. I will leave that link in the description. So I want to thank everybody who supports my work, whether it's sharing, liking, commenting, subbing, engaging with my content. That is also support. And anybody who takes it a step further and donates or buys something or joins my community, it's all helpful. It's all useful. And I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you guys and have a great day.
From now on, there's going to be a twist to the game.
A shocking revelation throws the group.
You're lying. Oh my God.
It's the end of the first week in Indonesia, and the 5 competing travelers are gathering beside a lake on the outskirts of Lembang for their first official end-of-week meeting. All of them are aware that in 2 months' time, only one of them can be voted the ultimate traveller and take home the £10,000 prize money. But now, they must decide as individuals who has been the best traveller so far. They are not allowed to vote for themselves. And while the accolade has no bearing on the final outcome of the competition, the winner will receive 50% extra on their budget for the coming week.
We all know why we're here. It's been quite an eventful week in our first week in Indonesia.
Each week, a different member of the group will chair the meeting. Andrew has volunteered to go first.
Right, everyone, I think we should vote for who we think Traveller of the Week is. Chloe?
I would like to vote for Marie Claire because she's coped with every stage. She went to the market, and I think she's had the best week. I think that it should be Marie Claire.
I would like to vote for Chantal. She's been the most positive in terms of getting in about stuff that she wouldn't necessarily want to do. She's just been such like a laugh to be around and stuff.
Nathan?
I'm going to vote for Andrew because I've been with him most of the time and I think there's a bit of a divide, so I'm going to vote for Andrew. I think we've had a laugh and that.
With Andrew up next, will he stick to his plan and vote for Chloe in the hope that she will return the favour in later weeks? Or will he opt for Nathan, his closest friend in the group?
Just in regards to sorting out, transport, etc., I'm going to vote for Chloe.
So far, Chantel, Chloe, Andrew and Marie-Claire all have one vote each. Chantel is last to vote.
This week I would like to vote Marie-Claire as Traveller of the Week. She's very positive. I think she's really mature, and I think throughout the journey she'll grow.
So it's pretty clear. It looks like this week's Traveller of the Week is Marie-Claire.
Vote on you tonight,
Yeah.
Because Marie-Claire has been named Traveller of the Week, she will have an additional 500,000 rupiah on her budget for the coming week, giving her almost £30 more money to spend than her fellow travellers.
Getting Traveller Week was amazing. It was kind of unexpected because I felt out of the group like everybody kind of had something they were like particularly good at. Like Chloe probably was a haggling. I felt Andrew took the lead. Nathan was the joker, and Chantel bonded the group and stuff. So I wasn't really expecting it, but it's such a lovely thing to have, and especially with the girls because they.
Okay, I think that's probably good. So this was in 2010, and Andrew Tate was on this reality TV show. He was also kickboxing, and his brother was kickboxing as well. And they were living in Luton, England. Okay. So let's go back to the timeline. In 2011, Andrew wins his first ISCA World Championship, and Tristan appears on the reality TV show Shipwrecked. Now, I couldn't find exactly this show, so I did find people talking about the show, people asking Tristan about the show in the future. So let's look at that. Okay, so that was Tristan Tate in 2011 when he was 23, and Andrew Tate was 24. So by Andrew Tate's own words, in 2011, when he was 24, aside from kickboxing, he was doing this.
So when I was 24, 25, I sold drugs. Long time ago now. I can be honest and open about my past. I was a fighter, but fighting wasn't paying the bills, sold drugs, whatever. So I'm selling drugs. I didn't really like selling drugs. I didn't like the anxiety. I didn't like the idea of getting caught. I didn't like the violence, the stabbing. I have my stabbing stories already on Twitter. I'll put one of Tate's speech up. Someone tried to stab me. In the town I was in, Luton, the worst town in the world. There's a doctor's office there. Now there's nowhere to park except for the doctor's office car park. Obviously you have to be a doctor to park there. But I've got a PhD degree, so I can park wherever the fuck I want. So I go into the doctor's car park to park my car. And the ramp is too steep, and I scrape the front of the Aston. And I have to back up, and I can't get into the car park, so I have to park somewhere else. So I was like, okay. So I went and I had dinner, and I'm sitting there going, wait. In the
Okay, so he was not 20. He wouldn't have had an Ashton during this time. Okay, so he would not have had an Aston Martin around that time. So he bought an Aston Martin. It's on record when he bought it. I have a video of it. And it was December 15th, 2016. And he would have been like 30 then.
doctor's car park, you can't park a sports car. Maybe it's just the Aston. Is there any other nice cars in there? So I go and I finish my food and I walk into the doctor's car park. Citroen, one old Mercedes, Audi, A3, some shit. I'm like, whoa. So they all talk about if you study hard, you can be a doctor. Go study medicine. Study. Give up your whole life in school. Then you get to be a doctor. You can't even buy a sports car. There's not a single sports car in the car park. You can't even move a sports car into your car park. Unbelievable. What a waste of fucking time. And you're gonna sit there and be a doctor and be broke? Well, doctors aren't broke. They're broke compared to me. So they're fucking broke. When you see a man like me at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday morning at a gas station in a $400,000 sports car, I get out of the Lambo, there's a bitch in the front. I get out and putting gas in? Do you look at me and go, he studied really hard in school? Or do you look at me and think, drug dealer? You think drug dealer because you understand you must break the rules to make money. Doctors have followed the rules their whole lives and they're driving Citroens. You have to break the rules to make money. You have to understand that the system is designed to keep you poor. I will teach you how to break the rules. Don't be like the doctors and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an education that will get you a Citroen.
Okay, so in our timeline, we have made it up to 2011. And we will continue this timeline on the next episode of the Tate Brothers, Tales from the Matrix. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's going to be a really big deep dive into the Tate Brothers and their connections and all of the crimes that they've been up to. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you have a good rest of your day or evening, whatever time it is for you. And I will see you next time on The Eclectic Journalist.